To be CEO, you have to be crushed, expended. To be CEO, you have to be crushed, expended, yet open. The man or woman at the top has the crown that lays the heaviest.
Some women get burned and some are formed in the fire.
The victory is not about the peak or the end, it's really about those moments where you couldn't see your friends.
It's a game of chess, only all the pieces are alive and want to move their own way.
Where the only thing you had was the plan and the vision.
They see lack, I see seeds for multiplication.
I do this for the freedom and those sad souls who refuse to come along die in the grave called average.
I see things different.
Everyone is chosen, but few heed the call.
In my job, I chase security or the illusion of it, but in my element, the pain is there to remind me I must be brave enough to chase freedom.
These are the moments where leaders are born.
I am CEO. Now click. Top has the crown that lays the heaviest.
Some women get burned and some are formed in the fire.
The victory is not about the peak or the end, it's really about those moments where you couldn't see your friends.
It's a game of chess, only all the pieces are alive and want to move their own way.
Where the only thing you had was the plan and the vision.
They see lack, I see seeds for multiplication.
I do this for the freedom and those sad souls who refuse to come along die in the grave called average.
I see things different.
Everyone is chosen, but few heed the call.
In my job, I chase security or the illusion of it, but in my element, the pain is there to remind me I must be brave enough to chase freedom.
These are the moments where leaders are born.
I am CEO. Now click. I'll get the help around here. All I need is like the link put in the video. There's a little button up there to add the link I think you need from CEO Club. But welcome everyone. That was very professional of me, right? Welcome to CEO Club. Guys, do me a favor, please. Tell everybody in the WMG group, get on CEO Club. This is literally, the reason why I love CEO Club, this has literally been the difference for a lot of people between the income level they were on versus the income level they belonged in. And in a book I read, it's called Thought Transmutation, that your thoughts can turn into their physical equivalent if you learn to upgrade the level of your thoughts. You upgrade the level of your life. Now let me know, where you coming in from today? What country are you watching us from today? And tell us also, I would love to hear, because I get these private messages, it would be nice to hear it publicly too, of the impact that CEO Club is having on various people's lives and how they're conducting business. I would love to hear it. Even people who are not in WMG, I constantly get these messages about how CEO Club has been affecting you, and I'd love to hear from you how CEO Club's been working for you. But today we're going to be talking on the topic of the secrets of happiness, and boy, is this a topic for me that's close to home. And I guess a big reason why it's close to home for me is because one of probably maybe the biggest reason why I'm an introvert, and I am an introvert. Even in the office today, I disappear upstairs. I'm only an extrovert if you give me a platform. Give me a platform to speak, and I will talk. But if there's no reason to talk, I'm by myself in a corner somewhere. I have an office here, but I like to disappear to way up there to be alone and to study and to think. And part of the reason is I'm like hypersensitive to people's emotions. And one of people's emotions do wear on me. They drain me or they encourage me and excite me. But one of the strong emotions I'm seeing places people, only one person said where they're coming from. One person is proudly from Yorkshire. The rest of you are not proud of where you came from. Guys, talk to me. Talk to me. Let me know where your messaging is from. Favorite part of WMG always challenges my mindset, which is the first step for growth. Thank you, Dita. I'll pay you after. Thank you. Guys, so this is where we get our mindset challenge. But yeah, I was saying my introvert story. Part of my introverted nature is I'm hypersensitive to people's emotions. And one of the emotions that drains me more than anything, I don't know about you watching me, but one of the things that I find to be my peeve, and it may offend some who are super sensitive, one of the things that I find to be, oh, Canada, what's up? What's up? Lagos. Hey, Io from Lagos. Good to see where you come from. Austria. This is amazing. Finland. Okay. So we're not just speaking to London or UK. We're worldwide, so I best behave. But one of my big peeves is people's emotions. And I don't know if anyone watching here would agree with me. I don't know if I can get any bounce back from anyone watching here. They don't even look like they're paying attention to me. But, like, is it just me, or does it get to you as well if someone is constantly negative?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so I'm not the only one. Okay, good. I get this irritation. And I want to feel for you. I can, even when things are really bad, I can feel for you. Everyone's entitled to reaction. But when you meet people who are constantly negative, everything's something wrong with somebody else, or everything's the devil, or, something like that, it can really wear on my emotions. And I started to realize something early on in my business growth, that if I don't get in control of my emotions, and I used to be a really emotional sap, by the way, because I was a hopeless romantic. It doesn't look like it now. When I was younger, I was a deep romantic, Shakespearean. I mean, I was a Shakespearean romantic. Do you understand what I'm saying? When I was like growing up, I was that guy. So if you can see what's going on behind this camera right now, I was that guy, and I fell in love hard. You know what I'm saying? And so when you fall in love hard, your heart breaks harder, and it was horrible. I mean, I went through this terrible heartbreak, and I was depressed beyond anything you could ever imagine. I mean, when I say depressed, I lost so much weight. I refused to leave my house. I sat down watching movies all day. I didn't want to do anything. I became crippled and immobilized by my emotions. And by the way, this lasted a good 4 years. This lasted a good 4 years of my life. I wasted in emotional. So when I talk about what I'm going to talk about today, I've been there. I've been to the depth of depression. And I'm talking about the depth of depression. I make no jokes about this. This is quite some sensitive areas for some people. I'm talking about the depths of depression, suicidal depth. I'm talking deep, dark places. And I see where the human soul gets to, where it's like, what's the point in living? And it wasn't just that. It was the pile-up of life. Because the powerful thing about being upset or depressed is when you're already in that state, everything confirms it. Everything confirms it. I even think... Let me drink this water before I say this one. 60. This is to do with CEO Club, by the way. I even think... There was a day I sat in my house, did this little thing where you, like, flick the Bible and point your finger. Don't act like you haven't done it. Point my finger on a little page just to... What's it going to say to me? Because I'm so depressed, I need some divine intervention. I'm flicking. And it said, and Judas hung himself. I was like, whoa. Like, of all the books How did I pinpoint Judas hung himself? So I flick again, and so be it. And I was like, everything. You know that place where, now this is upsetting me. I have 2 glasses of water. It's the feng shui is putting me off. I don't know why I need 2. Is it for both mouths?
I got you one.
In case I get extra thirsty, you don't have to top me up. But this was where I was. I'm just being real. I was deeply depressed. And I'm with my mentor, going to her house almost every day. Not the mentor I have now, so don't try and pick up clues, but a previous mentor, still considered to be a mentor. And I am in her house, and I am just depressed. I'm in her and his house, and I'm just looking at myself in the mirror. You ugly, stupid. Yeah, I'm picking at myself, everything I don't like. And then suddenly, I hear this voice, and it's this lady's voice, and she goes, and this, my mentor's the sweetest human being you've ever met. She said, "Will you shut up and grow up?" And inside me, I'm like, how dare you? Deep down inside, I am fragile and suicidal. You don't see a glass cup and smash it and hope it's going to get better. I am fragile. I am broken. But what was so amazing, her words should have broken me. Because I should have been that fragile that anything like that should have broken me. Why didn't it break me was my question. Because in that moment when she spoke to me, I had a realization. I went to those emotions. I took myself there. I chose to stay there. And actually, when she said that, it was, I still remember it till this day. It felt so insensitive. Like, how can you speak to somebody like that? But at the same time, it just had the ability to arrest me for a moment. And it made me think, I have put my life on hold for, it was a good 4 or 5 years, for someone who is enjoying their life out there, not thinking about me for one day. You know, Truett said that being offended with someone is like swallowing poison and hoping the other person will die. I was literally gargling poison every day. And you know how you do when you're really upset with someone? You torture them in a dungeon in your soul. Do you ever do that? Don't act like you don't. Like you just imagine the worst happening to them. And you are just, I'm sticking knives through you and giggling almost sadistically and twisting it. And just imagining you falling in love with somebody you hate and just everything just going terrible for you. And I had to have this moment with myself. And I realized in that moment, what I'm going to tell you is one of the keys that I didn't even intend on telling you. One of the keys to really being successful, truly being happy. And I consider happiness to be being successful. I used to think happiness was a low pursuit. But I actually consider happiness to be a state of being. I thought happiness was a place you had to one day get to when you acquire something. But happiness is the state that you must be in for all other things to almost be meaningless, meaningful. It's weird to explain, but for all other things to not really matter. Essentially, I don't need loads of money in my bank to be happy. I don't even need to be married to be happy. I know some of you, that just screwed you up because you're on Instagram looking for bae and you're staring at all these people's fake lives and cosmetic lives thinking that somehow if you got with them you'd be happy. But the truth is, if you're miserable, you're just going to make another person miserable. Like if you don't bring happiness to the relationship, you're just bringing misery with you. So there's no point. You're better off single than making someone else miserable. Don't share it, basically, because I know misery likes company, but please keep it with yourself. This was my thing. I realized in that moment I was holding myself back. I felt robbed, and I realized all my potential, because I thought to myself, you know when you start saying stupid things like, I can't live without you? That's how hopeless I was. I've never said those lines, I can't live without you. You know, because you listen to all these songs. And I was into Brian McKnight as well, just to make things worse. Brian McKnight is my guy. I can't live without you. I can't be without you. You know the one. You want to break into karaoke right now. I can see you. Yeah, yeah. I still need you and want you by my side. You know, that's my... You got to be careful of the music you listen to.
Oh, yeah.
Because everything is programming you. And this was what I realized. Key to happiness, the secret to happiness. First of all, I think on some level, we all need to learn forgiveness. I think on some level, all of us are holding ourselves back to someone else. And we need to learn forgiveness. We need to learn, we really, as human beings, part of what I believe is holding us back so much from being the successful people that we are fully, I mean, the vibrance of everything that's in you, the beauty, the color, the joy, the excitement that you think died in people who disappointed you, it's still there. It's still there. It's an eternal thing. It's from your soul. It can't die with them because they didn't put it there in the first place. It's still there, but what resurrects it, what brings it back to life, what causes the proverbial phoenix to rise from the ashes of your own disappointment is forgiveness. True, heartfelt forgiveness. Not, I forgive you, but I won't forget. That's not forgiveness. Because if I forgive you, and I guess I know why we don't forgive. We don't forgive because I don't want you, and we all have our version of forgiveness. That one that I just mentioned, I forgive you, but I won't forget. What other versions of forgiveness are there? I forgive you, but I won't trust you again. I forgive you, but I think if I forgive you, but is there, you haven't really forgiven. And it sounds like such a bewildering statement because forgiveness doesn't make sense rationally, especially if you've got an ego. Forgiveness doesn't make sense. But the absolute power of forgiveness is the knowledge that you yourself have the ability to hurt people. And you yourself that are holding other people back. Listen, I'm pointing to myself too. You yourself that are holding other people back have yourself hurt many people. If we dug up your casualties from the ground, you are no Mr. or Mrs. Perfect. Now, forgiveness is only really forgiveness when we have the ability to really let it go, and you know when you've forgiven because essentially your behavior around that person doesn't have to alter anymore. And I'm going to go into positive behavioral alteration, but I'm talking about negative behavioral alteration. Negative behavioral alteration is when I see you and I have to go the other way. Negative alteration is when I see you and I can't even look at you in the eyes. I'm so cowardly on the inside. I'm still so disgusted. Because essentially if somebody controls how we behave, it means that they still own the strings. And I just prefer to live life with no strings. I prefer that you don't have strings in the first place to even own over me. So what forgiveness does actually is it puts me in the position of power. But what I found is about human beings is long after we've forgiven everybody out there, the last person we ever think to forgive is ourselves. And a humongous amount of us are tied back in life. We could be great, man. I mean, I think of the people on this call who could be mind-blowingly amazing, who could do just about anything and everything they set their mind to, but who have trapped themselves in some rule book. You've created your own rules around yourself, and I have to ask you, and these rules are fear. This fear is because you have not given yourself permission to go beyond what you feel you deserve. You've kind of calculated in some karmic way, as if God is some economist over your morality, and he goes 10 things good, 20 things bad, and so you've judged yourself somehow by yourself, and essentially I think you're playing a losing game because you're already broken anyway. You're not perfect and you never will be. And I think if you learn to, there's an element where we talk about justice, that everything wrong deserves justice. But it was Martin Luther King who said, an eye for an eye will have no eyes left. And really and truly, the only answer to bring real, what if justice looks like mercy? What if justice looks like forgiveness? What if that, I heard a story, by the way, that just, till this day, I remember watching it, it made me cry, but it also made me think, you're just not a human. You're not a human. There's this woman who goes to Brazil, she's like a missionary of some sort, goes to Brazil with her children, and they're all doing like feeding the poor and stuff in Brazil. And all of a sudden some street kids say, hey, look, my brother's been beaten up, my brother, please help me. The young boy runs to help because he's compassionate, he runs to help. And these street kids were pretending and stand up and stab him. The missionary mom hears this and is beside herself, and they put this young man in prison. She goes to visit the young man in prison. Crazy. This story baffles me. And she hands the young man adoption papers. And she said, when you're done, you're going to replace my son and I'm going to bring you up. And that young man is now like some doctorate guy and doing great things in the world. And he's a speaker, talks about how he killed this person's mom. And I just think, what if justice looks like mercy? What if she just perpetuated the hatred, left this young boy in prison? This young boy has children who he raises to be just like him. But now, because one act of love, one act of kindness, she has wiped out this guy's behavior. And it teaches me a lesson about life, which leads on to point 2 about happiness. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Do for people what you, this is something that I have found. I probably am very happy because I'm always contributing. Whether I'm on CEO Club today or I'm doing training the next minute, I'm happy because I'm dispensing all my potential. I'm constantly giving out. And I'm finding that the more I give out, I'm in a flow. You know, I'm not burning out because I'm focusing on what I have to offer. When you do what you have to offer, you don't burn out. Actually, you're energized by what you have on the inside of you, the gift that you bring to the world. And I guess it's still in the word forgiveness. Forgiveness means before giving, give. It literally means before giving. And so, can I ask you, are you a contributor to life? Are you... you see, if you're not finding outlets to because essentially every single one of you watching me today, you're a gift. To me, this is again what it means to be CEO. I'm a servant. I'm a gift. All I'm here to do, whether you want the gift or not, reject the gift or not, I'm here to be a gift. I think it was Mother Teresa that said, you'll do good and people will question it. Do good anyway. You'll love and people will think it's for ulterior motives. Love anyway. You'll embrace and people will think that you're embracing, but she said embrace anyway. Be you. Be the gift. Be truly who you're meant to be. Help. Contribute to people. And you'll find that the more you do, the more joy you'll feel inside. Do something random for somebody who can't do anything for you. Smile at people, engage, be alive, be in the moment with the people around you, contribute. This is really, I have notes, but I've forgotten my notes. I didn't actually have anything to say today, but I thought, let me just open my mouth and see what comes out. But to me, this is the secret to wealth. I was giving before, I remember, I've been a speaker since I was 15 years old. People say, you're a great communicator, man, you must have been born with the gift. And I've had a lot of years of practice. I've been speaking since I was 15 years old. And I guess I found that the more I spoke, the more I contributed, the more I gave, the happier I got. The more joyful I got, the more personal fulfillment that I got. But I think there's a catch in this. Don't find joy. This is it. This is good. Oh, this is good. I might just keep it in my head. We're just having a good time, right, me? Yeah. I remember times I was speaking and I hated it. I remember times speaking out of obligation. I remember times people calling me to do things and I'll just do it. And I realized something, maybe in the last week since I've been reading certain books. Don't fall in love with what you do. Fall in love with why you're doing it. That's something that has been a discovery of mine. Fall in love with, it's not, I could do anything, I could. But if it doesn't have meaning, if I don't learn how to attach meaning or deduce meaning or draw out the meaning behind what I do, I'm telling you, because if you don't find out why you're doing what you do, there's a sell-by date on what you're doing. But when you discover why and really get down, I mean, if you think I'm hooked on abuse, the amount of things that I do in one day, or meeting to meeting, you're thinking, is this guy like self-abusive? Doesn't he rest? Doesn't he sleep? I found something bigger than me. I found something so much more meaningful than wealth, mental gold. Or why am I speaking to all of you online for free? You're not paying me for this. But I found something worth dying for, something so meaningful, something better than life. Do you understand? I think when you find a meaning greater than life, you transcend life itself. And essentially you become, in some way, the highest level of being, a contributor, a giver. The lowest level is the opposite, a leech, a taker, a sucker, somebody who's miserable is always taking out of the atmosphere. They're always anti-contribution. They're always withdrawing. You've got to, you shouldn't get out of your bedroom without knowing why you woke up in the morning. Why did you wake up this morning? Otherwise you live for what you do, not why you do it. And then are you really alive, or are you just a walking corpse? If you haven't discovered why you're doing what you're doing, then other people will hijack you. And it's not necessarily bad as long as they have a strong enough why that gives you a reason why. That's great, because your why becomes other people's why. When you discover and articulate your why, they experience it. Maybe they know it, but they haven't articulated it. And so they resonate with you on some level, because you have the ability as the vision bearer to articulate the why for them. Are you with me? Am I making sense? I hope I am. But it's not, again, it's not falling in love with what you do. It's discovering and absolutely fall in love with why you do. I think this is so important before you even get married. Like, don't get married till you're married to why. So if you get married before, I say this all the time. Martin Luther King's wife, I was reading about her, and there was a report where they asked her, the reporter said they did everything to you. Everything. They molested your friends, they threw stones through your window, they killed your friends, they threw you in prison, they kidnapped your children. After all of this, why did you stay married to Martin? She said something like, don't be silly. She said, when I married Martin, I didn't marry a man, I married a vision. That has stuck with me. What do you do when the appearance disappears? What do you do when the physicality goes? Have you connected? Have you married a why? Have it's your design, your makeup, your reason for being. If you don't discover it, not what, but why you do what you do. Why you? I mean, I can't be satisfied with a Big Bang. That's a mistake. That's an accident. That's lazy. It's a mathematical impossibility. They say it's actually, to believe the Big Bang, it's actually the equivalent to believing a tornado gets into the back garden of my house, tears up my car into every intricate individual piece, and then it comes back together as a car. That's the same level of maths with which you need the faith to believe that. So I just don't know if I can believe that. I have to believe I was put here by something beyond me that transcends me, and the blueprint of transcendence is the why that was deposited on the inside of me. And that why is discovered in my agitations, my frustrations. The reason why I cry in a moment in a movie and you don't cry is my why. What pains me most, what hurts me, what frustrates me, what injustices I can't stand to see go by, who I need to help, what I feel compelled to do, even if you didn't pay me to do it. That's my why. And if I can articulate it, if I can write it down, if I could put it on a piece of paper, I would. And even when I write it down, it only feels like I cheapen it, if for a moment. The reason why for a long time I didn't want to write it down is I didn't want to cheapen it, because I feel it. Your why is why people follow you. People follow how you feel, not what you know. Your why is the feeling you give off. It's the reason why people go with Apple over Microsoft. The technology's not better, that's for sure. But Apple has been noted to have developed a cult-like following. Apple is a cult. Literally. To have an iPhone is a statement. You're saying something to the world around you that I am not them. I belong to a tribe of people. I have belonging. Apple, the reason why Apple outlasted Nokia is Nokia discovered what? Apple discovered why. And if you only know what but not why, someone who knows why is going to overtake your what, and you need to discover why. You should be obsessed with it. I don't know why you left your bed. I don't know why you have an employer. I don't know why you go to work. What's the point? What's the point if you haven't discovered why you're doing it? And then I guess the next secret to happiness is this. It is better. The tech is better. It's not. It's actually not. It's cheap and it breaks. How many charges have you been through? So, I guess the next reason, or the next way to see growth or exponential growth in our life, the next way to see happiness actually in our life is this. It's growth. It's growth. If we're not growing, we're dying. If every day my competition is not you, my competition is me yesterday. And if I look at today and I haven't grown, you don't know you're growing if you don't have the tools of emotional intelligence. The number one tool of the emotionally intelligent is a journal. A man without a journal is a man without a mirror. You'll always see what's wrong with other people, but you won't see it in yourself. You won't see if you're growing, if you're developing. Okay, so yesterday they said this about me. And listen, I don't care what people say about me, one or two. But if there's a consensus about me, it's saying something. If the general consensus everywhere I go is, boy, he's arrogant, man, he's real arrogant, then maybe they're not the problem. Now, if one or two have an issue with me, perhaps they're the problem. But if there's a consensus from well-meaning people trying to help me that I'm giving off something, I need to review that. I need to SWOT analysis myself. I need to find out in my own life every single day, Toby, what are your strengths? What are your genuine strengths? And don't be humble about your strengths. And don't be proud about them. Be true about your strengths. Be true about them. If you're a humble person, be true about the fact that you're humble. If you're a generous person, be true about the fact that you're generous. If you're intelligent, highly intelligent, be true about the fact that you're highly intelligent. Be true. Know what your strengths are, because if you don't know them, your weaknesses will consume them. Know your strengths. Celebrate your strengths. Your strength is your difference. Identify it. Identify with your strength. But also know your weaknesses. Know your three predominant weaknesses. Know them, because no one falls because of their strengths. Everyone falls because of their weaknesses. Everyone fails because of their weaknesses. If you don't know your weaknesses, you don't know what to guard. You don't know what to guard. And there are areas of your life you just need to guard. You need to guard some areas from people. You do. There are some areas of your life you just should not let everyone into. Especially you that are watching me that are high-powered leaders. There is something called leadership. Leading and bleeding. I remember a time in my life I just became so vulnerable. I'd share everything and anything that came out of my mouth and just open up my heart to just anyone because I just didn't care anymore. And you have to have a fortitude. You have to have a sense of personal growth. You have to outgrow yourself yesterday. You have to look at yourself. What were my strengths? What were my weaknesses? What opportunities am I not taking because I'm afraid or don't think I deserve them? Who am I not talking to? What opportunities am I not seeing? Am I not grabbing right now that could change my life, that could transform my life? Who am I not connecting with? Why am I not taking the opportunities? If you don't question yourself, you won't grow. You've got to question. What are your threats? Who in your life is threatening you? Who's a threat? Who shouldn't be there? What shouldn't be there? One of my threats is my generosity. It's a big threat. I actually need people in my life who are less generous than me because I'd give it all away if I could. I would. I need people in my life who tell me, Toby, say no to that person. Because sometimes generosity is enabling people to stay in a place as opposed to actually helping them. And so I have people in my life who say, you're just being too nice. I know you don't think I'm nice because of the way I talk. But in terms of giving, I'm a giver. I'm a giver. And if you ask me for something, I'm likely to reflex give. And I've had to have people who come and say, stop it. Stop. You're not helping them. They're leeching off of you. They're using you. Stop. It's actually one of the reasons why I wanted to be rich. One of my biggest whys for being rich is I love giving. I enjoy it. I love how it. Somebody once said we're most like God when we're giving. I think that's true. I think nothing comes closer to that feeling of godliness than somebody who gives without the need to want anything back, hold it over anybody. I think the most disgusting people are the people who remind you what they've done for you. I think that's low life. I've done this and I've done and I did this and I have. That's such disgusting manipulation. It hurts me. It hurts me when I hear it. It's like giving is who you are. It's not what you do. That's who you are. That ought to be who you are. And actually, it's one of the great keys to happiness. But growth is important, personal growth. And the only way to really grow, hear me, millennials and Gen Zs, Netflix won't grow you. It won't. It just won't. I mean, I can just imagine it, the amount of hours you spent on movies or Desperate Housewives, that if you read a book, you would be somewhere else in life. You would be unstoppable. If you read the way you binge watch, you would be. In the last week alone, I've read 3 books. I'm talking like this thick. I'm not talking little bitty books. It's 6 hours, audiobooks, 6 hours. It was a good 6 hours of my day. I had the audiobook and the written book and a notebook. And I went through 6 hours binging a book. Binging. And my world is so much bigger now. It's crazy because this is life. Life is consequence. You need to write that down. The quality of life is consequence. That's the quality of life. The quality. Today, this where I am now is a consequence. It's a consequence. Where the office we're in is a consequence. This did not happen by accident. You know, you say life is a boat, go with the flow. No, be a motorboat. Please, have a motor. Don't be a sailboat that goes with the wind. Have a motor on you and direct it. And this is a consequence. So the quality of my life right now, this is a consequence of something. What's it a consequence of? This is a consequence of my choices. No, I'm wrong. This is the consequence of my habits. My habits are the consequence or the result of my choices. My choices are the result of my character. My character is the result of my values. My value is the result of my why. My why is the result of my knowledge. Ignorance kills. Ignorance kills. You can't make quality choices without quality thoughts. You can't. If you don't enhance the quality of your mind, the quality of your life doesn't grow. You got to grow your mind. You got to read. The richest place on the planet is a library. Millennia of human thought, mistakes, the wealth of mistakes that sits in a life. You're an idiot if you make mistakes. There are no new mistakes. There aren't. They don't exist. Nothing new under the sun. There is no new mistakes. You're not new. You're not special. I'm sorry. You're not special. The earth has seen you before. You're not. You're special. Don't worry. You're special. Don't worry. I'll give it back to you. I'll take it and I'll give it back. You're special. You're cute. You're special. But you're not. The earth has seen you before. Mistakes have already been made. You are making mistakes that you could have read in Julius Caesar's book, or you could have read in The Art of War. Like, I am baffled reading books at the amount of mistakes I'm making that people have already made. And there are only two ways to learn in life: mistakes or mentors. Mistakes or mentors. And mistakes are sometimes a very unforgiving mentor. Sometimes the mistakes we make, man, there's no new mistakes. Life is patterned in a way. Life is principled. Life has laws. You break the law breaks you. You violate certain laws, it comes back to you. When you discover the laws that people have lived by and you consist, the key is consistency, you persist in these laws, they release results. The consequence of the quality of life is the choices you make. These choices come from the knowledge you acquire and apply. This is the secret. The application of knowledge. Guys, I hope this is helping you. If it is, please share and tell somebody they should be on today. Another secret to happiness. Are you tired yet?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because I don't know anymore. I'm making them up as I go along. Another secret to happiness. I actually have a few. I'm just trying to pick on which one I think is the best. This is a good one. We all, I want you all to think of an area of your life that you're really happy with. Right now. Really proud of. Really you're just like, wow, yeah. Still, I can see you smiling right now. I know where you is, brother. I know where you is. I know who you with right now. Yeah. I want you to think of a place in your life that you're just happy about. You're happy about that area. I don't mean all the others. That area, like, yeah, I'm happy with that. Do you know there's a science to why you're happy? Because inside each and every one of us has what's called an ideal scenario. The way our life was meant to turn out. And that area fits. That's how it's, to you, that's how it's meant to be. That area is like, yeah, that's meant to be like that. You got areas in your life right now that are ideal. You got to ask yourself, this is one of the keys to happiness. First of all, it's gratitude. Be grateful for the areas of your life that are idyllic. Be grateful. Those ideas aren't cynical. If you wanted to be a single mom, you're a hero. You're a hero. Stop undermining yourself. Not single mom. I didn't mean single mom. I meant if you wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. If you're a single mom and you're happy being a single mom with your child, you're a hero. if you see being a quality person as molding the minds of children, you're a hero. And I think it's sad that society doesn't pay teachers as much as it pays football players. Well, look at the state of our schools. You're a hero. If you want to be a teacher, you're a hero. I think you're amazing. If that's the ideal, if you see, success is not a blanket statement. Success is fulfilling what you were designed for. It's terrible to climb the ladder of success and realize it was leaning against the wrong house. Success is to do what you were made for, not what you were paid for. That's your job. You got to discover what you're made for. That's success. What were you designed for? What is the idyllic, the ideal? It was in you from the moment you were born. You can't explain it, it's just there. It's there, it's in the bedrock of your soul. I'm meant to be this. I know I'm meant to be a speaker. So when I'm speaking, this is ideal. This is normal for me. You can tell I could do this in my sleep all day long. This is ideal. Apparently I do speak in my sleep too. I've had entire conversations in my sleep to wake up and not know what I said, but apparently it made a lot of sense to whomever I advise, because people feel they can call me at 3 a.m. for advice. And then I call them in the morning and say, did we talk? They say, yeah. So was it good? They say, yeah, it was amazing. It was some of your best stuff. I'm like, okay. Find out the idyllic. Find out the ideal. One of my favorite lines is about a man who said, I'm going to wait to see what God's going to say to me. And God said, write the vision, make it plain. Isn't that weird? I'm waiting to see the voice of God's going to talk to me, but he's like, it's ready inside you. It's the ideal. It's not the problem, it's the vision. It's the vision. Okay, so you can focus on the problem or you can focus on the vision. It's up to you. It's like coming to the earth and seeing it's void and without dark and oh no, let there be light. Speak some light. That's the vision. The vision is the antithesis. I always get this word wrong. Antithesis. See, this is for me. I go for these big words. Why did I go there? Antithesis. Is it tith?
Yep.
Antithesis. That's it. I've never thought of it like that. Antithesis. I always thought it was a PH. Antithesis. Antithesis. Dennis is laughing at me right now. But the idyllic, Carol is writing messages and retracting them. Are you angry?
No, I made them.
Oh, it's you. She's here. I'm sorry. She's right here. I just keep seeing retracted messages. I'm wondering if you're like, I hate you. Retracts.
You spelled this is wrong. I'm so glad I made a mistake.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm in a silly mood. I get like this when I'm tired. But yeah, antithesis. I did that right. To find what. If you're frustrated by it, it probably means you were meant to solve it. If it irritates you enough, stop complaining about it. Do something about it. It'll probably make you happier. We all seem to be slapped in like a Wimbledon nature between two poles, depression and anxiety. Depression, fear of the past, anxiety, fear of the future. What I would say to you, if you want to succeed, is to engage in the present. Be aware right now. Have a vision for the future and do something to change it. We all want to build a time machine, and I'll show you how. Build your future so big that it has the ability to correct the mistakes of your past. Build a future so amazing that it turns around to your past and it dwarfs it to the point that people cannot believe you came from there. You aren't where you came from. You are where you're going. Develop where you're going. Develop the worth that's on the inside of you right now. Guys, I'm done. I've enjoyed being with you today for this CEO Club. I hope it's helped you. But these aren't all the secrets to happiness. There are so many more. I could have gone on physiological secrets, like sleep. Sleep. Try it. The insomnia generation, which we are, Because we're a blue screen generation. You know what I mean by blue screen? Nighttime, that screen is on. And it's keeping us up. And I'm talking to myself. This insomniac nature, if we learn to sleep, we would be happier. For real. The other things that I'll say physiologically make you happier is gut health. Do you know your stomach has a brain separate from your brain? It actually has its own neurological pathway. That's why people say, I feel it in my gut. Your stomach actually has its own neurons. It has its own separate thinking system. And actually, if your gut health is bad, it affects your mood. This is why you might want to consider probiotics. You may want to consider taking things that are good for your gut. I'm just saying, if your gut is good, your mood is good. Ever wanted to speak and you get nervous? Where'd you feel it? A hook right there. What'd you feel like doing? Eat well. Yes, Dr. Vera said, eat, love, pray. I agree. Gut health is so important. I've been studying it lately. That what you do with your gut determines your mood. The bacteria in your gut. And the problem is our food is so bad now. The enzymes, because it's so unnatural, the enzymes in our stomach that are meant to break down the food don't even recognize what it is anymore, so it doesn't break it down. It dumps it as fat, and all the salt we eat as well. We increase our blood pressure, releases cortisol into our body. We got stress pent up in our bones. And the sad thing about stress, and I say this because of my studies in neuro-linguistic therapy, the sad thing about stress is once the body dumps it, it does not know how to withdraw it. The body actually doesn't take back stress. That's why you got people years later still dealing with post-traumatic stress. Because the body doesn't know how to take it back. You have to actually withdraw it. And there are ways to withdraw it. Massages, by the way, are a huge way to relieve stress from the body. Touch, affection, married people, sex. Exercise. Great way to release stress. Prayer. Actually, they say people who pray boost their immune system 30%. 30%. A boost in immunity from people who love God. It's amazing, isn't it? I could have gone through so many physiological things. Developing good relationships is one of them. And I've learned something recently, and it's something that I wrote down. Don't have friends. Have a board of directors. Don't have friends. Friends are overrated. What do I mean by that? Friends are everywhere. And the issue with friends is they're all directors, whether you like it or not. They all direct our life in some way, shape, or form. Choose quality friends. Choose them. Select them. Don't accept them just because they fell into your life. Osmosis will do that. Don't accept osmosis friendships. Select them. Choose them. The ones you choose are the highest quality. The ones that just kind of fall in, it's like the apples that fell from the tree. It literally is. You didn't reach for it. You didn't aspire to it. You didn't grab. You didn't grow for it. You just kind of found the ones that are at your level. Find friends beyond you. Stop being the most intelligent person in the room. Now I'm done. I feel relieved. Right? Anything else? Old ticker? We're good. We're good. We're good. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's session. Weird though it is always with me. This is what it's like to live in my brain for a few minutes. I hope you've enjoyed the ride. I can see 94 people on here. There are only 22 lovers, and about 80 of you or 70 of you are haters. Because there's only 22 likes. Guys, rumor has it, for every like you drop, your bank account grows by, your net worth grows by 1,000 a month. For every like that you drop on the call, your net worth literally increases. So why don't you go ahead and increase your net worth? I just saw a like go up by 1. How pathetic is that? I just said that, and what? Okay, it's going up, guys. I hope you've enjoyed today's session. Please be on more CEO clubs with me. I hope this has shifted some things in your brain. I hope you literally make some decisions. I want you after this call to get a piece of paper and write down your actionable items. What are you going to do with what you just heard? Write it down. Take some time. Don't go and wash this down with some Coke and get on with Emmerdale or something like that. Sit down in a room and write down what you've learned from today. Have a fantastic day. I hope they're ready to end this so I don't sit here with an awkward pose. Catch up with you soon. Awkward pose. Awkward pose. Still awkward posing. To be CEO, you have to be crushed, expended, yet open. The man or woman at the top has the crown that lays the heaviest.
Some women get burned and some are formed in the fire.
The victory is not about the peak or the end, it's really about those moments where you couldn't see your friends.
It's a game of chess, only all the pieces are alive and want to move their own way.
Where the only thing you had was the plan and the vision.
They see lack, I see seeds for multiplication.
I do this for the freedom and those sad souls who refuse to come along die in the grave called arid.
I see things different.
Everyone is chosen, but few heed the call.
In my job, I chase security or the illusion of it, but in my element, the pain is there to remind me I must be brave enough to chase freedom.
These are the moments where leaders are born.
I am CEO. Now click.